Have you heard of a game called Super Smash Bros. Brawl? That game was from my childhood. I love playing the game with my friend Kyle. Sadly, I lost the game, along with all my progress. I really wanted to play the game again, like unlock every character, complete Subspace Emissary, and unlock every trophy. I may go into the cliches of most lost episode in video games like this and go search on eBay to look for a copy of my childhood game. Thankfully, after a lot of failed results, I finally found a copy of my childhood game. After I purchased it and waited for the game to arrive, I opened the box and took a final look at the game cover before opening it and taking out the disc. I popped it in my very old Wii console I had ever since I was 5 years old and booted up the game. The first thing I did after starting up the game is to go to Adventure Mode. I decided to play Adventure Mode without using Mr. Game & Watch. In fact, I decided to never use Mr. Game & Watch on any mode ever except for the All-Star mode. After I finished the event mode and beaten my 100 match, I decided to use Mr. Game & Watch on All-Star mode, since this is the only time I used him. After defeating All-Star mode, I got a new Challengers Approaching screen, which was odd because I unlocked every single character. But instead of saying a new foe has appeared, it says, "Did you forgot I exist?" I was confused. What was happening? After I exited out of the Challenger Approaching screen and went into the supposed new Challenger battle, the game started up in Flat Zone 2 and I was playing as Mr. Game & Watch. After 2 seconds after beginning the battle, every single character, included Mr. Game & Watch, are starting to spawn everywhere. I moved Mr. Game & Watch to Luigi and began attacking him. Then character after character, Mr. Game & Watch was beginning to get stronger and stronger as more and more characters started appearing. Even the bosses and enemies from Subspace Emissary started appearing. After the last character, which is Ness, was defeated, Mr. Game & Watch began fading away. After Mr. Game & Watch wasn't visible anymore, the screen cut to black with blue text that said, "Let this be a lesson to you." After 3 seconds of this, the screen cut to the main menu of Super Smash Bros. Brawl. To this day, I decided to play as Mr. Game & Watch more often, because if I don't, he would haunt me in my nightmares.